What's going on, y'all? Dadbot here. Welcome back to my Elden Ring walkthrough. We spent a lot of time in the last few episodes up here on the Altus Plateau. In this episode, it is finally time for us to come down here and explore this area. This is the Caria Manor. You see on our map here, we have the guidances of grace that point to this manor. So I'm considering this a story-based episode. A main story-based episode, I should say. And again, my definition for what I consider main story versus just kind of side stuff, side content is, in my opinion, the main story are these areas that these guidances of grace are pointing to. And this area is technically optional, but as far as the game considers, I think it is main story. And the boss of this area does give us a trophy. So again, for you trophy hunters, you're going to want to explore this area as well. And getting past this area does give us access to a lot of very important side quests in the game. So where I started is right here at this road to the manor. You'll notice from the air, these magic bolts are being summoned down to the ground. I kind of just hang by the edge of the cliff, and for the most part, they miss me. If you kind of just hang to the side here. And then now we have to turn up and go to the manor, but just keep moving. If you get hit, it's probably not going to be instant death, but again, just hang to the side. Eventually you do kind of have to cut over to get to the front. And there is a site of grace right here once you get here. So this area, I think most people probably do it earlier than I'm doing it. There's a reason why I saved it for a little bit later, and that's because of the enemies in here. I mean, this place is chock full of the giant hand enemies, and the smaller hand. I mean, they're between the giant hands and the smaller hands, there's probably 50 plus of them in just this section alone, this lower section of the manor, and it is a pain. So it is easier, in my opinion, to do this part when you're a little bit stronger. For starters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn directly to a sharp right. And there's some loot over here that I want to get. A lot of the loot on this lower level, not that great. But I'm going to do my best to lead you to it all. So you see I've got the giant hand chasing me, but he kind of leashes. And here's an enemy. And the reason why I wanted to come down here first is because you get that glintstone craftsman cookbook. And then pretty much once I'm done with this quick little lower section, I'm going to warp back to that main site of grace, and then we're just going to go straight through the level. Again, this is a pretty sketchy place, and those hands enemies are just pretty ridiculous. They're very powerful, very quick, and are a pain to deal with, quite frankly. So I got a somber 3 here. So I'm going to warp right back here, and we're going to kind of start again from the beginning. I do want to show you that kind of side path, again, mainly for that cookbook. That's the easiest way to get to that cookbook. So what I'm going to do here is right when I get in, I'm going to use my physic flask, and then I'm going to summon. Because Lutel really helps in this area. He takes a lot of the heat off of you. And what that does is it allows you to hit the hand, especially the giant hands. It allows you to get good shots on them. So you see how that one, there's an item right there, but there's a hand right. You see the fingers popping up out of the ground. That is a trap. So you want to go right behind it, start hitting it, and get it to clinch. Because if you try to grab that item first, it's going to grab you right away. And as I said, you know, a lot of the loot down here, I mean, most of it, I would say, is probably like crafting material type stuff. There are some runes. There is an Ash of War down on this lower level. As I said, I'm going to try to get most of it. But you see, there's just... And these things... I've got 2 of them on me at once. And good grief. But Lutel does a really good job at taking the aggro off me. And he also does some damage too, so which is nice. Looks like that hand is stuck. Oh, now he moved back. So you got and on top of the big hands, we got a bunch of the little ones too. So Lutel, he holds his own. I mean, he's really tanky. As I said, that's why that's why I like him, is because he is so tanky, and he does a pretty solid amount of damage. And he is super duper helpful in this area, especially. But yeah, this area, I mean, I don't know who designed this area and whose decision it was to put this many hand enemies in one confined location, but I question their decision making. And that's putting it nicely. Now, the one redeeming factor is that these the big hands drop Somber 2 stones, but that is debatable on how important it is. Somber 2s, I mean, I'm kind of over that at this point in the game. Like, I don't really need that, but if you're trying to farm Somber 2s for whatever reason, this is a wonderful spot to do it. And always watch your step, because there are traps where the hands, as I said, as I pointed out before, they're kind of waiting. They're underground waiting for you to make a move, and then they'll grab you right away. But yeah, Lutel doing some work. And that purple beam that they shoot out, that'll stun you, and then what it'll do if it hits you, it'll stun you, and then the giant hand will sneak up and grab you, and you can't do anything about it because you can't move. So even the smaller hands are dropping the Somber 2s as well. So yes, back here, as I said, there is an Ash of War. I believe a hand is going to try to attack me now that I'm going after this thing. Yeah, there's a hand right there. But we get the Caria and Piercer. Oh, that's not an Ash of War. That is a sorcery. But here we have a hand that's waiting for us just to make a mistake. But if you hit it first before it can pop up out of the ground, then you will definitely have an edge on it. There is a shield back here as well. Where is that shield? I think it's up here. Here we go. Got the Ice Crest shield. I want to say that's pretty much it for the important stuff down here. Oh. So again, having Lutel by my side is... I've said it many times. I can't emphasize enough how much that is helping me. So I got the golden 4. Let's see here. Okay. So, main path forward is through here. You can follow, this kind of stony trail. Again, always watch your step, because as I said, there are a lot of those hand traps. And as I said, most of these pickups, save for a few of them, are just like these crafting materials, basically. Yeah, glintstone fireflies and rime crystal buds, all that kind of stuff. So I showed you, the Ash of War, or rather the sorcery. I showed you the shield and the golden rune. Yeah, this place is teeming with these enemies here. And when I walked in here, I said there's 50 plus of them down here. I don't think that's an exaggeration. I really don't. I'd be interested to know a precise count of how many hands are in this section. But anyway. I'm going back to the main path. I'm convinced I have all the important loot. And I don't intend to overstay my welcome here. I just don't want to lose Lutel. If I get too far ahead of him, I think he disappears. And I don't want him to disappear, because there are a couple larger hands up here as well. Oh, he left me. Yeah, I think this is a place where you can't summon. This is a section of the level where you can't summon, so he went away. That's fine. Okay, there's a big hand waiting to pop up, but there's no loot over there. There's a big hand that wants to fight. There's a bunch of smaller hands, too. Ugh. Yeah, this guy's coming after me. Yeah, see, like, you can't even do a jump attack, because even when they're just crawling, that does damage. And they move so fast. I'm going to roll through the purple, get some hits. There we go. Much harder to do when You don't have your buddy with you. All right. Calling it a day here, guys. Feel free to have a look around, but I can confidently say you're not missing anything noteworthy. So this place gets considerably better when you reach the higher levels of the manor, because you don't have to deal with the hands anymore. So. And we're going to rest up here. And there, you know, there is some good loot up here as well. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to head this way over here and over here. And put a third marker on this roof. This is very important if you're going for your platinum trophy, because we're about to get one of the legendary armaments. And these guys, I mostly just ignore them. That's not worth the time or attention to fight those things. We're about to get a legendary armament, which is required for one of the trophies for those of you who are trophy hunters. One of these has a rune arc on it. It must be this one down here. That's the rune arc. Here it is. Okay. So from here, you can drop down to this roof. So you're going to want to jump. And then jump down here. And there's nothing up there. You can jump up there, but there's nothing up there. And then what you want to do is drop on down here, or take the ladder. And in this treasure chest, you have a legendary armament, the Sword of Night and Flame. You are going to need this if you want the achievement for all legendary armaments. It is a legendary armament. Let's check it out. Here it is. So the stat requirements for this are pretty steep. It requires 24 int and 24 faith to equip. One of the legendary armaments, unique skill is the Night and Flame stance. Now, this weapon, the weapon skill for this is pretty insane. They even nerfed it in the latest patch, and it's still very solid. But you can only imagine how amazing it was before they nerfed it. But people were just straight up abusing it. The normal attack to cast with Night Comet sorcery, or a strong attack to sweep forward with a burst of flames. That Night Comet sorcery is, in my opinion, the better one, and you can just melt enemies with that thing. Even after they've nerfed it, it still is very potent. So this unlocks a door that can only be unlocked from the inside. This takes us back down to the ground level. So not gonna do that again. All I'm gonna do is come back up here and warp back here, and then we're gonna take another route forward to get some more loot, and then we're actually gonna have to do two more. Maybe two more trips. Where we're headed next is down over here. I think we have to do two more trips. So before we turned and went that way, now we're just going straight. And again, as I said, I don't fight these guys. It's not worth it, in my opinion. So over here, you look over the edge, you see this wooden platform. You can jump to it. So do a running start and jump over the edge here. And you're going to land right here. And there is an item under the staircase. Got a golden rune 3. Here we got some hands. Fortunately, the smaller ones. And we got the Urumi, which is a whip weapon. And down here we have an abductor virgin. But I'm just gonna Start wailing on him before he notices. Oh, I missed the jump. I short hopped the jump attack. Dang it. Once he stops, I'm going to do another Bloodhounds on him. Oops, I missed that. I missed both of them. Once he stops that, I'm going to do a jump attack and get him. There we go. I'm going to pop my Cerulean Flask. I don't think I'm going to... After I'm done with this path, I'm basically going to warp back to our side of grace again. So over here, got the Somber Stone. And then this is basically, it's to drop back down to the beginning area, which we don't want. So we're going to warp back here. And then this time we're finally going to take the progression path. We had to take a couple side paths there for loot that required some dropping down and whatnot to get. But now we're actually going to move forward, so. These guys, I'll just show you that. I mean, they fight like normal soldiers, but 124 runes, not worth the trouble, not worth the risk, in my opinion. So that is why I run past them. Get rid of the beacon here. So this is going to take us to the tippy top. Once I can access my map. Here we go. So now we get to explore this kind of upper cliff area, and this is where the boss is going to be. Okay, let's see. Can I level up, or what time is it? I'm gonna warp it to morning real quick, just to make sure. Can I level up? No, not quite. You know, I got a ton of runes. I'm just gonna. I think I need 33k. There we go. Just gonna get that level. All right. Keep pumping strength up. Want to get it to 40. All right, so you see there's a golden seed and then a wolf enemy. These wolf enemies are actually fairly strong. They do take several hits. That wouldn't notice me. So you see how many hits they take. It's actually pretty surprising. So we've got a golden seed. This one I'm going to sneak up on. Do a charged heavy. There you go. So we're looking down on the manor now. You see all the even that upper section we were just in is way below us now. I don't want to say really the only thing around here. There's some crafting stuff and then some of these wolf enemies. Ugh, I have a bad habit of short hopping the jump attacks. So yeah, crafting. And back here I think is more crafting. Yep, I think this is a Mikola's Lily. All right, so you see a giant Carian enemy here. I'm actually going to lure this guy forward. Off to the side here, we have a ladder that we can go up. Get some magic grease. So this allows us to get behind the troll. And we can summon in here. I prefer to save my summon for the boss in this case. I'm going to sneak up on the troll, go for his legs. Get the critical. Oh, come on, give me the critical. No. Oh, I got the bleed, so that's as good as the critical. So I got the Troll Knight Sword. I'm not sure if that is a guaranteed drop or not. So these guys have the crossbows that fire the exploding rounds. So watch out for them. Poise is not that great, though. This one while we're at it. More crystal buds. And then so this is the boss room. Before we hit up the boss, we are going to take a little side path here. And this is a large kind of drop down section. We're going to have to warp to get back to where we were before, but there's a lot of hidden loot down here that you can miss if you don't take this path. Lots of jars down here that are going to attack you. I'm going to go for Big Daddy first. Got some smaller ones. Okay. Got some crystal darts. Oh, I sliced right between the two. There we go. We got this thing. I think that's from the giant pot that we killed. Yep. And then grab this before we drop down. Cracked pot. Basically, you have to keep dropping down. The thing is once you drop down, you can't get back up unless you make this loop again. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss a pickup. There's a couple large ones here. Okay. Now we're going to drop down here. And last but not least, we drop down onto this little tower. We can pick this item up. Ash of War. Carian Grandeur. All right. So we're going to warp back here, make the loop back around to the boss. Basically just run back to where we were. Actually, I want to make sure. I want to see if I have enough gold seeds to upgrade my flask. I'm not sure, but we did just pick up an extra one. So it is worth checking, in my opinion. Nope. Let's see. How many do we have? I think we need 5. We have 4. We need 5. This one I'm going to kill just to get out of the way. I'm not going to take a side path. I'm going to run straight past these guys. I want to say there's a thing over here that I missed too. Here we go. Smithing stone 4. Eh. But it's there, so I'll get it. Hopefully I don't die in the process. All right, so now we're going straight for the boss. I'm going to pop my physic flask and summon. As soon as I can. There we go. So Royal Knight Loretta on her horse. So she summons these daggers. She'll shoot them at you. We are quite powerful for her. We'll take her out in not too many hits. Again, as I said, most people do this place earlier. I just saved it for this point because I especially wanted access to use Lutel before I could do this, before I did this, just to have him just help with the hands on that first level, which greatly annoy me. And when we were here originally, when I was originally in Liurnia, I didn't have access to him because he costed too much FP for me to summon. I didn't have enough FP to summon him. So now that I can summon him, really helps. Okay, so I got the Royal Knight Loretta trophy, and you get Loretta's Great Bow. Very good long range sorcery for those of you who are doing more mage builds. Get the Ash of War Loretta Slash. Solid stuff indeed. So we get the Grace here as well. Okay, so I want this episode to be, you know, it's a story-based episode, so I'm not going to do side content in this episode. As soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one. So we are actually going to slightly progress to the next area. This is called the Three Sisters, and this is very important for side quest stuff. But there's also a drop down side path to the manor that will allow you to get some loot in the manor that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So I'm going to include this part as part of the main manor episode, but the rest of the stuff up here is going to be in the next episode because it is mainly side quest type content. Keep going. There's going to be a scarab over here. I think this is just a straight up cerulean scarab. You don't get like an Ash of War from it or anything, but it'll replenish your cerulean flask. So right here, yeah, you see you can drop down. And this takes you to a section of the manor that is inaccessible from any other part of the manor. So if you want to get to this spot, you actually have to get through the boss and then take this route that we just took and then drop down right here on top of this roof. And then Where's my next drop down? Just want to make sure I take the right path. Here we go. Yeah, drop down here on this wooden scaffolding. And this will allow you to get down safely. Okay. So this... Ooh. I'm surprised that didn't kill me. I didn't mean to drop down there yet. I wanted to show where I was coming from here. So we just dropped down those wooden platforms there. So you're going to land on top of this roof normally. You're not going to go straight down the hole. But anyway, on top of this roof, there is a spot you can progress forward there. But before we do that, we want to drop down here because down here there is a merchant that's going to sell us some stuff. That is very useful. So this is the merchant. He is not an enemy, although he may look like an enemy. And you'll see this is the church. We unlocked a site of grace right there. But we're actually on the upper level. And that's where our merchant is here.
Sorry, your worship. I apologize for any offense given. I am Pidia, servant to the Carian royal family. I am charged with maintaining these ghastly dolls. Other than the puppets, there are some very fine things up here in this storeroom. Why not pick something out before you go? But please, can you offer poor ill-starred Pidia a little something by way of compensation?
Okay, so he's got some things. Mainly, he's got a ritual pot. Those are good. He's got a celestial dew. This will allow you to absolve your sins at the Church of Vows. He's got a larval tear. This will allow you to respec. He's got the Glintstone Craftsman Cookbook 7 for cold arrows. He's got the Caria Retaliation. This is a very good Ash of War to put on shields. I'm going to show you in just a sec. I'm going to pick this up, and this is what I'm going to put on my shield, actually. And then we have the weathered map. I'll show you the weathered map as well. So the weathered map, it leads you, it says simple but badly weathered map, left discarded and forgotten for some time. It says depicts streaks of amber light. So you can barely make out what's on here, but you can see there's kind of a wide path and it says depicts streaks of amber light. I'm going to show you where this leads us to. We've already been there. We already have this item, but see, here's the wider path. And then directly north of it, we picked up this key item here that we're going to need for a side quest later. So that's what that map is trying to show you. We've already got it. And at the next site of grace, I'm going to equip the Caria Retaliation, which is an enhanced parry. It allows you, if you parry a projectile spell, what it does is it puts like those 3 knives above your head, and you can retaliate and do damage from that, which is actually very powerful. So we got an old fang. And we can drop down onto this path here. And this is going to take us to a stone sword key. Just checking to see if there's... Yeah, there's nothing back here. Again, the only way you can access this path is by taking that loop after the boss. So we beat the boss. We came out around here. We looped around here. And then this is where we drop down to. Drop down on these wooden boards here. Got some slumbering eggs. Then drop down here. See a giant crab. He is guarding our stone sword key. Gonna do a jumping attack. Oh, I missed the jump attack. Wow, that was pretty bad. This is a sleepy crab. Got our stone sword key. Got some crab eggs from the crab. And then this is just a drop down to that first level of the, or maybe it's even outside of the manor. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to warp back to Roundtable Hold. And I'm going to equip my Caria Retaliation. Keep it standard. So as I said, this is an enhanced parry. You can also use it to parry spell projectiles, and then it puts like the 3 homing knives above you, and you can do insane damage with it. Not insane damage, but pretty solid damage. But anyway, so pretty solid. A lot of people do enjoy Caria and Retaliation, so I want to make sure I pointed it out to you guys. But anyways, as I said, I'm going to keep this episode at just the Manor, just that, as I call, part of the main story path, if you will. But anyways, really appreciate y'all watching. Hope this helped you out a lot. Hope you're able to successfully navigate a pretty treacherous spot, at least in my opinion. But anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, and we'll see you then.